Welcome back to the final chapter of King Purple Clock's story. In part 1, we witnessed the rise of one of Swallowed Star's most calculating antagonists, a small, scaly Qi Chang, who transformed himself into a being capable of killing Immortal Kings through mastery of fire and space laws and the devastating Devil Note Fire God Clock. We left Purple Clock at the height of his power, having survived the deadly Sacrificial Tower expedition. But his victory came with a price. He had revealed his capabilities to Luo Feng, someone who would prove far more dangerous than any enemy he'd faced before. Today, we're diving into the final act, how a master strategist's greatest strengths became his destruction, and how the hunter became the hunted. After the Sacrificial Tower, Purple Clock made what seemed perfectly rational: eliminate Luo Feng before he became a real threat. He analyzed Luo Feng's capabilities: impressive speed, unusual treasures, and the ability to claim artifacts before Immortal Kings could stop him. From Purple Clock's perspective, Luo Feng represented both opportunity, valuable treasures, and threat. He'd witnessed Purple Clock's true capabilities. His decision followed his core philosophy: deal with potential threats before they become actual threats. What Purple Clock didn't realize was that he was about to face someone whose existence challenged the fundamental assumptions that had guided his strategic thinking for millennia. Purple Clock fell victim to the intelligence trap, making confident decisions based on incomplete information. He observed Luo Feng carefully and developed what seemed like a comprehensive threat assessment. The problem? Purple Clock was analyzing a protagonist with main character powers using frameworks designed for normal universe inhabitants. Luo Feng represented a fundamental anomaly whose capabilities operated according to different rules entirely. This created a situation where Purple Clock's intelligence actually worked against him, leading to increasingly confident decisions based on calculations that were accurate but irrelevant. Purple Clock's first move demonstrated sophisticated information warfare. Rather than direct assault, he spread rumors that Luo Feng had acquired significant Sacrificial Tower treasures. This wasn't random gossip. It was targeted psychological operation with multiple objectives. The rumors would attract treasure hunters to pressure Luo Feng while gathering intelligence. It created a win-win scenario. If others killed Luo Feng, problem solved. If he survived, he'd reveal more capabilities for Purple Clock to analyze. Despite his aggressive pursuit, Purple Clock was genuinely afraid of Luo Feng, fear that proved entirely justified. Luo Feng's performance had demonstrated impossible capabilities for a world master. His ability to remain hidden while Purple Clock collected treasures suggested troubling skills. Most importantly, Luo Feng had metal fragments that couldn't be stored in space rings, indicating access to technologies beyond normal frameworks. For someone whose power depended on superior equipment, this was a nightmare scenario. This fear led Purple Clock to increasingly desperate moves, each revealing more capabilities while failing to eliminate the growing threat. When Purple Clock finally attacked Luo Feng, everything went wrong. He achieved tactical surprise and delivered overwhelming force. But Luo Feng deployed Strikeout through the universe, escaping before Purple Clock could finish him. This wasn't just superior speed, it was access to techniques operating according to principles Purple Clock couldn't account for. The real shock came when Purple Clock, pursuing his target, encountered Luo Feng's golden horned beast body wearing king armor. Suddenly, he wasn't facing a talented world master. He was looking at someone potentially connected to legendary figures like the Silver-Winged King. This forced Purple Clock to abandon his plan and retreat. For someone who built his reputation on superior preparation, operating with such uncertainty was profoundly disturbing. The encounter also revealed Luo Feng possessed multiple bodies, invalidating Purple Clock's assumptions about tracking and countering his movements. What followed was complete role reversal. Purple Clock, who initiated this as the hunter, found himself being hunted by someone with superior resources. When Luo Feng placed a 50 million mixed UN unit bounty on Purple Clock's location, it demonstrated financial capabilities and confidence that exceeded anything expected from a world master. Purple Clock made increasingly desperate investments in victory. He hired King Heavy Arrow and King Bloodbeast, two Immortal Kings, at massive cost: 5 billion indigo gems up front plus promises of 1/3 of Luo Feng's wealth each. This wasn't just expensive, it could bankrupt lesser Immortal Kings. More importantly, hiring allies meant revealing conflict details to beings who might use that information for their own purposes. Purple Clock brought everything: 2 hired limit Immortal Kings, his full arsenal, and battle plans designed for overwhelming victory. 3 powerful Immortal Kings against 1 World Master should have guaranteed success. But Purple Clock fundamentally misunderstood his opponent. Luo Feng wasn't just a World Master with good treasures. He transcended normal cultivation classifications entirely. The decisive moment came when Luo Feng deployed the Space Lock Band, preventing teleportation across 10,000 kilometers. This wasn't just superior equipment, it was Yanji race technology operating according to principles Purple Clock couldn't counter despite his space law mastery. For someone who built his philosophy around technological superiority, being outmatched in technology was profoundly disorienting. In supreme irony, Luo Feng deployed 2 Fire God origin crystals, each equivalent to 10 times a pinnacle Immortal King's self-destruction, turning Purple Clock's preferred weapons against him. Purple Clock survived but lost over 50% of his divine body, significantly reducing his combat effectiveness. The psychological impact of being outmatched in his area of expertise was devastating. The weapon that ultimately killed Purple Clock was the perfect counter to his defensive philosophy. The Poison Shadow Blade with 0.72 drops of deadly Famo poison bypassed all his defenses through precision rather than raw power. While his Devil Note Fire God Clock could redirect physical attacks, it was useless against biological corruption at the cellular level. After surviving star system devastating explosions, Purple Clock died from essentially a poison needle. Even dying, Purple Clock remained true to character, sending a mass message throughout the automaton race virtual world sharing Luo Feng's location and calling for vengeance. Pure spite, one last attempt to create chaos for his conqueror. Purple Clock's death had far-reaching consequences. His final message attracted multiple Immortal Kings seeking Luo Feng's treasures, leading to a larger battle where Luo Feng killed 13 additional Immortal Kings and earned the name King Blade River. Luo Feng acquired approximately 120 billion mixed yuan units in treasure, plus the invaluable Devil Note Fire God Clock. The irony was profound. Purple Clock's entire career ultimately served to make his enemies stronger. King Purple Clock represents one of Swallowed Star's most compelling characters because he wasn't evil for evil's sake. He was rational, making logical decisions with effective methods that had served him for eons. His tragedy lay in the impossibility of his situation, playing by rules that no longer applied against an opponent who transcended normal cosmic power frameworks. He tried to eliminate a threat through conventional means, only to discover some threats cannot be conventionally eliminated. Purple Clock's intelligence made his downfall more tragic. He analyzed carefully, made rational decisions, and executed sophisticated plans that all led inexorably to complete defeat. Purple Clock's fate raises profound questions about power and survival in Swallowed Star's universe. If someone as intelligent and prepared as Purple Clock could be completely outmaneuvered, what hope exists for true security? His story examines rational thinking leading to irrational outcomes. Logical decisions based on accurate information led directly into an unwinnable conflict. The scales that had protected Purple Clock throughout his career couldn't shield him from the poison that killed him. His treasures became weapons in his enemy's hands. His intelligence led him into the one conflict he couldn't survive. The tragedy isn't that he was evil or incompetent. It's that he was rational and competent in a universe where those qualities sometimes aren't enough. His legacy reminds us that in Swallowed Star's infinite cosmos, even the most prepared beings remain vulnerable to forces beyond their comprehension. King Purple Clock learned too late that some opponents cannot be defeated through conventional means. Some conflicts cannot be won through tactical brilliance, and some forces transcend the very frameworks that define cosmic power. In the end, the small, scaly warrior who seemed so unimpressive became a powerhouse, capable of killing beings far above his level, only to discover that even powerhouses can be utterly helpless when facing opponents who operate outside the normal rules of reality itself.